What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode here at Tremblous. Today, we're actually going to be working on gladiators today. We did a bunch of things to the gladiator. I didn't record a lot of it, so I decided, hey, I'm out here. We're going to do another tomahawk chop to another gladiator. So we're going to record it because I haven't seen a lot of videos online that do JTs, Mojaves. So I figured, hey, why not do one and bring you guys some content if you guys decide to chop the front end. You guys will know the process, what it takes, because the first time around was kind of a mess. And the second time around should be a lot easier. It's a lot of cleaning, a lot of fine tuning it to make it fit in there. It's really not a hard process. It's just tedious. You just got to spend some time on it. I did do mine, so you can see the chop there. It gives you all the activities underneath, clearance that you need, and just keeps everything nice and tight. It's super clean. I kept my bare steel. I put some clear on it and just let it rip. We'll see how long that lasts. Hopefully it doesn't rust on me, because if it does, then I'll rip it off and we'll have to do the work again. But today we are at Mr. Austin's house. Young Buck is going to make the jump. So his tomahawk is a little bit different. He has the bull bar, so I'll show you that as soon as we dive in. So let's get in there and start working. Let's get it. Woo, baby. All right, so we already took off the front bumper, so you might want to look that up first. It's pretty simple to take off. There's 2 bolts here, 2 bolts here, and then there's 2 bolts there, 2 bolts there, and the whole front end pops off. Depending if you have a winch and all of that, you might have to remove that. We also recommend that you remove the front end here. You don't necessarily have to do it, but when you're cutting, it gets really tricky. So just take it off, give yourself the space that you need. A couple tools that you'll need will be a sawzall, a grinder, plenty of blades, plenty of flap discs, plenty of cutters, because you're going to be cleaning up this whole section right here. So we already started cutting there in that spot, just to kind of give you an example, but that's the first piece you're going to cut, and then you're still going to make a cut about here, but all of this goes away. And on the Mojaves, he actually has brackets that hold his resis, so we're going to have to figure that situation out afterwards. But basically all of this gets deleted, and then you cut here, you put a bracket, and then the bumper sits flush. So this little section here, you're also going to be cutting. You can see it in the instructions. Motobilt does have pretty good instructions online also, but we'll just walk you through the process. We're going to cut the first part here completely off. This is pretty much off already, and then we'll cut the next one. And remember, take your time, do it piece by piece. Don't rush the process, because it's one of those things you cannot go back. Once you cut it, it's a wrap. And we'll show you Austin's front end. So it's basically the same as mine. It'll just have the stinger or bull bar, whatever you guys want to call it. So it changes the look a little bit. It actually looks really sick with it also. But yeah, we're gonna get in here. Young Buck's gonna start cutting that front end, and then we'll take it to the process. And then also, once you start cleaning it all off, you're gonna take a flat wheel and make sure it's all nice and cleaned up. You also want to take some spray paint and spray everything so there's no bare metal showing, so you don't start rusting up. But that's the first step. We're gonna cut the next one off, and then we'll move on to the next step. All right, team, so once you cut that first section off, what you want to do is remove these lines. So you disconnect it here, and then you disconnect it here. They're both 2 10mm bolts, just to get these lines out of the way. And make sure you, again, take your time, wear some safety glasses before you start cutting, because you're going to be using the grinder to basically cut all the welds off and clean this whole section off, because you're basically going to be just left with the frame, and that's it. We're going to chop here too. We made a line, well, Austin made a few lines, but you're basically just going to cut like a straight line here, follow that line there. This is all going to be cleaned up. You can kind of go and finesse it a little bit, but we cleaned it up, just a nice straight, nice chop. We do that there, do that to the back, and then you're ready to go. So they do give you a tool that looks like this. So this tool actually will be fitted in there. We're going to measure 3 inches back, and then mark a line, and that's how you get that first line for the final cut. And then after that, once it's cleaned up, ready to go, we're going to put the bumper in, draw circles of where the cuts need to be, and you're going to take a 1/2 inch drill bit and start making all your holes and get the bumper on. So we'll take you again through it step by step, just to make sure you guys have a reference point of where to go. But we're going to start cleaning this up. Once one of them is cleaned, we'll show you what it looks like. Alrighty, team. So yeah, a lot of it is cut. Do it slowly, take your time, get little pieces off of it, and then we're gonna dive in, because it gets a little scarier down here because you're so close to your lines. So you want to make sure you take your time, use a sawzall where you can control it, and then make sure that all your blades are nice, so you don't slip off and end up cutting something else. But basically that's what you're going to be working with. We're going to clean this whole section off, still cut here, and we'll get it moving. So we're gonna get that line out of the way and have them cut down and see how it goes. All right, team, so in case you guys are wondering, it's smoky just because we're using lubricant. So just a pro tip, if you guys didn't know, when you're cutting steel, just lubricate everything, even when you're like drilling holes, and it'll help you get through the metal easier and not fuck up the blade. So we use it when we drill, we use it when we cut. It just helps it out a ton. Keep your nasty thoughts to yourself, right, Austin? Let's get it. Chop time. Alrighty, team, so we're keeping it moving here. We're just grinding away, man. Honestly, when you think you're done grinding, you're just gonna keep grinding a little bit more and cleaning everything up. So all the tabs that you cut, you wanna make sure everything is flat. And then you're gonna grind this down just a little bit. We're gonna take off a little bit off the metal. That way we can get the bumper to seat right. Once everything is cleaned off, you're gonna use the measuring stencil they give you. So you can measure 3 inches back. We'll show you when we get to that step. But right now, we're just gonna continue cleaning, but you'll see your frame is gonna end up being naked like this once you get to that point. So here's one that we just started on, and again, you got to clean all those brackets, take all the grime, all the paint off of it, and then once you measure, cut, we'll put the bumper on. We'll take everything off, put some paint on it so that way it doesn't rust up on you, and then we'll start drilling the holes for the bumper. But not a hard process, it's just a tedious one. Make sure you have good grinding wheels, good cutters, and you'll be all right. All right, team, so we finished cleaning up enough where we can put the stencil in there. So again, you get that stencil from Motobilt, you just fold it up. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna measure 3 inches from the end of right here all the way to the back side of this bracket. And once you do, you're gonna mark it down because it does have a little bit of an angle. So you wanna make sure that at the bottom it's flat, and then you measure up 3 inches again from there to here. And then you mark it all the way around because that's where you're gonna be cutting. That cut's a little bit more difficult too because it is angled, so you wanna make sure you take a grinder and a sawzall, make sure you do take your time with it. And then after you cut that off, that'll be the final big pieces that you got to cut off. And after that, it's all cleaning up, cleaning up, cleaning up. And then you're going to attempt to fit the bumper. And then once the bumper slides in correctly, you're going to put the little clip that goes up here, and we'll show you that step when we get there, and we'll take it from there. But stick around, we're going to continue to work. All right, team, so we're continuing the grind here. We're going to test fit it now, see if we can get this bad boy on. But we struggled quite a bit when we were doing ours. A lot of shaving. We got this end in. Oh, it looks like it's closer. You guys have to do it at the same time. Back it up.
Okay, ready? Got yours on?
It's pretty close.
Okay. It's still there.
This one looks like it's...
That one's still snug. Yeah, so this is part of the process. We were shaving down, measuring, shaving down, measuring, shaving down, measuring. So now we're gonna take this off, shave it down some more, and then we'll try to tap it in with the mallet. But same situation that I had with mine. It's just so precise for Motobilt that it takes a little bit of work and finesse to get it in there. All right, team, so we got the bumper on. I just wanna show you how we mark it. So we pushed it back a little bit just so you can see the holes. So we marked this circle right there, marked that circle, and then we also kind of drew the line where the actual bumper ends, just to kind of give us a guideline. You also mark it up top where the bolt settles inside the little bracket. So we did this side, did that side, and then we're gonna go ahead and drill it all out. There's 2 different drill bits that you'll need. On the side, you're gonna use a 1/2 inch drill bit, and on the top, you're gonna use a 9/16, and you're just gonna drill it out. That way both of the brackets sit correctly, and then you just put the bumper back on. But you gotta make sure whatever your finish is gonna be, get all that situated, so that way when you do this, you don't have to remove everything and do it all over again. Once it's on, you can put your winch on and do the rest of it. We're gonna end up pulling it off and actually coating this one more time with alloy armor, and then we'll put it back on. But once it's on, we'll have it all settled and the bolts go through. We'll be able to pull this off and put it back on, no problem. All right, team, so we're drilling out the holes now. With this part, you definitely want to take your time. Make sure you put a pilot hole and then you use the big drill bit in. Make sure you're level, make sure it's going in straight. And then after that, you're gonna put that secondary bracket they send you, and you put that there. And you're gonna see it kind of line up on each hole, and that's what you're gonna use to pilot it through. And then it goes across, and the bolt will go all the way through like that. And then it'll pancake everything together, the bumper and the frame. So we're done with this side. We're gonna make sure everything lines up, and then we'll go cut the rest of it. So here we go. All right, team, so we finished up, got all the holes lined up. You can see we used the bracket, it pops up on the other side on both ends. You wanna do this first to make sure all the holes line up correctly. That way when you put the bumper on, it'll be a lot easier. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna clean this up, spray with some black. Again, you don't want it to rust, so make sure you throw some paint on it. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna spray our bumper with some alloy armor, nice silver color. Shout out to Ryan, he actually hooked us up with this. So we're gonna spray the bumper with that afterwards. Right now it's primer, just so it wouldn't rust. We're gonna throw that bad boy back in there, make sure everything fits. and then we'll close you guys out, man. Thank you guys for sticking around. A couple Chad guys out here with the fronts chopped up and tomahawked up, man. Here we go. All right, team, so the bumper's on now, and we're gonna actually remove it to paint it. So I'm just gonna show you what kind of load it looks like when it's finished. You are gonna touch up the paint. We still have to do a few steps to clean it all up and get it completed. But once the bolts are on, you're gonna have the bolt here, and then a bolt there. And then you're gonna use a bolt there, a bolt here, and a bolt there. You also get lock nuts with nylon and washers for both sides. So it's not a ton of bolts. The hardest part, honestly, is making sure you drill it out correctly. And the alignment tools that they give you that go inside, you just gotta make sure they don't bend up or get kind of weird on you when you're drilling it out, because that's gonna be the hardest part. We're having to align and cut still a little bit to make it work correctly. But take your time with the drilling, take your time with this grinding down of the whole thing, because it does take time to squeeze it in there. It's pretty precise. The bumper goes in super tight and comes out super tight. So once we did it to mine, honestly, it was hours of grinding, making sure that it worked. And this has been a few hours of grinding to make sure it works also. So take your time with it. Tomahawks are sick though. They are hefty. They are welded correctly. And you can use pretty much any winch on here. I don't think anything gets in the way. Make sure you remove your grill. You pop that bad boy back on. Put the winch on and you're golden, man. But we are going to be using the Alloy Armor Silver and getting this thing done. But if you guys have any questions, hit me up. We're going to wrap it up here, and we'll close you out soon. Alrighty, team, well, that wraps up another video. Hopefully this install helps other people out when you install a Tomahawk. Stout as bumper, gives you all kinds of activities at the bottom, shows off all the goods too. It's just a bumper that I've been wanting to do for a long time. You do have to do the Chad chop up front, and then it pushes everything. You honestly don't lose that much forward and backwards. It's more underneath and on the sides, which is surprising because you're cutting to shorten it. But we measured it with other Motobilt products and other bumpers, and they were kind of the same from the grill out. It just gave you a lot of clearance down here. So that wraps it up anyways. Shout out to Motobilt for all the good quality stuff. Shout out to Alloy Armor for hooking us up with some paint. And we're going to wrap it up here. Shout out to Ronnie for letting us use the garage because it was raining outside today. But we're going to wrap it up here. Thank you for sticking around. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Follow us on Instagram, YouTube, Patreon, all that good stuff. Go check out the Gatekeepers podcast if you haven't already. And there's going to be more about this Gladdy, my Gladdy, Austin. Don't cry, dude. It's okay. It took us all day. It took tell everybody how easy it wasn't. He's defeated a little bit. It defeated him. It just defeated Shermanator. But we got it done, dude. We're going to finish 2 of them. And then we'll have them on the trails, man. See you guys soon.